So I'm here at Affirmations of Wellness with Corynne Smith, the owner of Affirmations of Wellness.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. This is a cool new experience for me, and I'm stoked.
Yeah, I'm super excited to have this opportunity to talk with you. Would you maybe start off just sharing about your experience with yoga and massage and kind of how you got into this?
Yeah, for sure. So I've been practicing massage just this May for 9 years. So I kind of entered the massage realm right out of high school. I, in high school, was practicing cosmetology. So hair is kind of what led me to the path of massage. And I went to celebrate with a couple of the girls that were in class with me throughout all 4 of our years. And we got massages after our passing of our tests and graduation. And I just remember being on the table, and it was just the best experience I'd ever had. I'd never been so relaxed. And where we had received the massage was in a space that also offered hair, skin care, nails. So I was like, oh, I gotta learn how to do this, and it'll all go together so well. So I started school for massage. I was still 17 in August and had graduated in May. And as soon as I entered school for massage, it was so very anatomical. And I just kind of started to like that side of things more and started to feel like it would be a waste if I didn't include that in some way, shape, or form. So I ended up actually never starting doing hair. I was a little shampoo girl and I didn't pass my hair exam, and something just told me, just don't go back. You don't need to do that anymore. So massage, I kind of turned into my whole ordeal. And I started working with chiropractic offices and physical therapy offices. But my very first gig as a massage therapist when I wasn't in school anymore, I learned you really have to take care of your body because it's super hard when you're not getting a massage every day to combat what you're working on. So that's where the practice of yoga came in. And yoga was just a hobby at first, but it became a 5 day a week type hobby. I never loved doing anything so much, and I was never very athletic growing up. I did play some sports and stuff, but never really had a sport where I was like, yep, I love this. That was yoga for me. So when I found that they just kind of, it helped me so much, it started to be something I would recommend to my clients. I would share different yoga studios I was going to. And eventually something just clicked, and I was like, I should probably learn how to teach this. I might be good at it. So that's the story of that.
Okay, kind of circling back around, since you mentioned the anatomy part of the massage, because
Yeah.
that's honestly one of the things that drew me to you during our first session is you started to talk about the muscles, and when you start going geeky on a scientist, you're like you're talking about so that maybe we'll start there and then we'll get into the other piece of
Okay.
why I was really drawn to you maybe here in a little bit. But
Very good.
yeah, just kind of starting with that, because yeah, that is one of the things that I feel like really set you apart is just during the first session, you're already talking about, the connection of all these muscles within your body.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, the anatomy, it actually blew my mind too, from being in a school of hair where it was just focused on not as much footwork or understanding the structure of what you're doing. It was like learning how to do something. I guess I expected that when I entered massage, but we started out hardcore. It was like all the bones in the body, all the muscles in the body. We were looking at each other's posture and our own posture. And you would, my teacher, she was so creative, and I even brought some of her techniques when I became a massage instructor too. But we would physically draw on our partner all of the intrinsic muscles, the ones that sat deep to your skeleton, and the extrinsic that sat on top. And then we would like mobilize and move our student, our client, their body, and just kind of see those muscles shorten or lengthen. And that kind of all clicked to me that your posture plays a really big role in how you feel physically. And the repetitive actions that you do every day, where you hold stress or tension in your body, It's all kind of correlated and connected. So anatomy is like a big, strong key point in practicing massage to kind of help you manage your time correctly and also really help your client with something that they're working with. And understanding of anatomy is like the golden ticket.
Okay. And then maybe tying that in a little bit with the yoga piece of it, because this is kind of something else where you mentioned it's not just them receiving the massages, how they carry themselves between then and the next time.
Right. So your stretches between your appointments make a big difference. When I like to describe massage as when I'm giving you a massage, I am manually lengthening your muscle fibers, which just become tight from us like being in postures that are very repetitive. So a lot of people, we work at a desk and we bring our arms forward, and that just kind of shortens this front space of our chest and overstretches what's back here. So by manually lengthening those muscle fibers that have learned to become naturally short based on what we do every day, it kind of is what helps you feel good. That's what we call knots or trigger points. So stretching on your own in between your appointments helps you to lengthen those spaces for yourself. And that way you don't feel so tight and short in between your regular sessions. So yeah, I love that you mentioned this because I try really hard to teach my clients about what's going on with them. That way they're self-healers and they can kind of be aware in between instead of just always coming back to me or someone else to be fixed, quote unquote.
Yeah.
The real healing happens when you kind of bring that new awareness into your daily habits and make those changes.
And I love that you mentioned that. That goes right along with this whole idea of just empowering people to be their own healers.
Yeah, self-healers, we all are.
Yes, indeed. So one of the other things as well is just the sheer number of different types of massage that you offer.
Yes.
Could we maybe talk about a few of those for a minute? Okay.
Sure. So my school typically starts you out with you learn basic Swedish massage.
Okay.
And then the therapist, once they can learn how to gently connect with somebody's body, there's a plethora of different types of modalities offered throughout the world. But typically it's Swedish and deep tissue is just kind of what they start with basic schools here in the US. And then you take certification courses and they touch a little bit on the different styles and things. So that way you can kind of grow and expand your knowledge. Me personally, my three main styles are Swedish, therapeutic tissue, so not like deep throughout the whole 90-minute session, but in spot treatments where you need. Myofascial release, and that's where you kind of just like hold pressure and let the body relax into your pressure instead of moving it around aggressively. And then Thai massage, which kind of came into connection once I took on yoga teacher training. And Thai massage is a lot of compression and assisted stretching and bringing that range of motion to your client while their limbs and body are relaxed. That way they can explore their full range of motion without engaging anything themselves. Okay. So those are my three main styles, but I also practice reflexology, prenatal massage. I can do deep tissue, which is not a favorite of mine, cupping. So there's a lot of different things that you can add in, and just the more that you know, the more you can help someone who maybe would benefit from one style versus another.
How often do you merge modalities in a single session?
All the time.
Okay.
All the time. So I unlike a lot of people, I just charge for my time instead of for the style. And this is because a lot of people don't receive regular massages. They don't really know or understand the differences between them. And somebody might be dead set on like, hey, I really need a deep tissue massage. But when you get talking to them or working on them, you'll find that their body responds in a different manner. So I typically start out with, a little Swedish relaxation, combined Thai, therapeutic deep tissue and myofascial release. And if I find after I work on the person or as we're going that a different style would suit them better, I just change it.
Okay.
I just change it. So it's very freestyle, Corynne massage, but that's okay.
Okay. I think one more question on that, because out of the ones that you just mentioned, the Thai massage is definitely the one that I'm not really familiar with. So with that, you're actually, as a massage therapist, you are moving the limb or.
You got it. Yeah.
Okay.
So every part of your body has a specific range of motion that it's naturally able to attain.
Okay.
However, people, due to like injury or pain or tension, sometimes their range of motion is compromised. So a Thai massage, a traditional Thai massage, is actually practiced on a mat on the floor.
Okay.
But I kind of bring Thai massage onto the table. So there is a set sequence, it's a 90-minute session, and the person begins lying face up and then transitions to side lying and then ends face down. However, because I do combine so many styles, I just keep the person supine and prone, face up, face down, and I try to add in the range of motions for the head and neck, the arms, elbows, wrists, fingers, hips, knees, ankles, and then on the back, the same thing, hips and shoulders. So just kind of bringing a little range of motion into the session. I find as a massage therapist, it makes it a little easier on me to move the client's body in the position it's putting itself against, if that makes sense. Almost like I'm adjusting your posture on the table, not like a chiropractor, but just making small shifts by letting your shoulders relax away from your ears, or letting your palms spiral open to bring rotation to your shoulder, or bringing a little bit of traction into your hip or ankle just to make space in that joint. And then exploring ranges of motion, essentially.
Okay. So as someone who really hasn't, I mean, I've seen a chiropractor maybe a few times.
Okay.
But could you, actually, no, that's not true. I have not seen a chiropractor. I've seen a DO.
Wow.
Yeah. So could we maybe talk about the difference between how a chiropractor works on you versus a massage therapist? Because you mentioned that you've worked in chiropractor offices.
Yes, I think both therapies, they go very hand in hand. However, they are totally different things.
Okay.
So a chiropractor is focused on the alignment of your spine. And essentially from, maybe it's genetic, or maybe it's a postural deficiency or an injury if we get into a car accident or have an injury at work. Sometimes it places our spinal discs out of alignment. So a chiropractor's focal point is typically adjusting your bones so that way they sit correctly in that typical alignment of your spine. Where massage therapists, our focus is on tension in your muscles. However, I think they go very hand in hand. If your spine is naturally out of alignment, your muscles are going to pull and sit uncomfortably against each other. And sometimes if your muscles are too tight, they could actually pull your spine out of alignment, because a lot of muscle connects to tendon and tendon connects muscle to bone. So it's interesting. Sometimes I can look at someone visually and just see their spine is crooked. And I'm like, I can help you feel a little better today, but I really think you should go to a chiropractor. So sometimes it's really apparent, it's easy to see, but other times not so much. So
Okay.
yeah, I think it's an experience that everyone should have. I would recommend trying it one day.
Okay. Maybe kind of moving or segueing over into the yoga side of things.
Okay.
Pulling in yoga, you mentioned that this is really the opportunity for people to start exploring on what feels good in their body and bringing in that healing, that more awareness to be able to be self-healers.
Definitely. So I think yoga, the main goal of it is just bringing more awareness to your body, where you hold pain or tension or discomfort, where you feel stagnation, where your range of motion is compromised side to side. Perhaps one side feels fluid and free and it's easy to do something. The other side doesn't feel as fluid or free. So for me, yoga is all about bringing awareness to your own body.
And what types of, because I feel like we live in a day and age where we can kind of get lost and stay up in our heads about the whole thing, because there's just so many types of yoga.
There are. I teach Vinyasa. That's my certification. So that's probably your most basic style that you'll see in the US. Is you follow the sun salutations. It's very creative and free-flowing, connecting movement to breath. Also, I practice Hatha yoga, which is the same postures, but you hold them for a longer period of time to then really kind of find your alignment and strength and flexibility. I also teach restorative yoga, which is a little more chill, relax, kind of relax into the stretch, but add a little bit of motion to small movements, but we stay lying down, seated, or on our bellies for the majority of class. And we use props like blocks, straps, and bolsters kind of help us feel supported in those stretches. Here at Affirmations of Wellness, I do have a teacher who offers Kundalini yoga, and that's actually labeled as the yoga of awareness. This is a little more of a spiritual side to the practice. You do a lot of chanting, a lot of different mudras with your fingertips, very repetitive movements, and it's definitely open to all levels. However, the repetitive movements can become challenging. But just from practicing with her, we've been doing a 7-week chakra awakening course currently, and it's very, very cool. It kind of awakens your cerebral spinal fluid and brings a lot of different awareness into your body. So the yoga I teach is more about like finding alignment over depth and connecting your movement to breath, where restorative is about just relaxing, kind of being present and letting your body make peace with where it is. And Kundalini yoga is that yoga of awareness, kind of tapping into different centers and being open to receiving some new messages that maybe you couldn't access before.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen Kundalini yoga offered at a few places. That is one that I haven't experienced myself yet.
Okay, it's an experience you should try.
Okay.
And just come with an open mind and an open heart, because you'll be chanting and moving. And we also in Kundalini do a lot of different types of breaths. So instead of in Vinyasa, restorative, or Hatha yoga, we follow something called Ujjayi breathing or ocean breath. And it's a very audible breath that you can kind of feel and hear, just deep from your belly up to your chest, and then releasing from your chest to your belly, but all in through your nose and out through your nose. And in Kundalini with my teacher, Krista, we've practiced alternate nostril breathing. We've practiced breath of fire, which is coming from your belly, and it builds heat inside the body. We've also practiced deep breath in, deep breath out, but we do a lot of breath holds too. So it's kind of a way to challenge your respiratory system and to find more space in your upper body. And yeah, it's an experience, the best way I can put it.
Okay. So your personal relationship with yoga, were you doing yoga before you started down your massage therapy training?
So I was not practicing regularly, but I had tried it a few times before.
Okay.
I grew up figure skating, so that was like my one sport that kind of stuck with me. And I injured myself in the 11th grade, so I didn't really kind of get back up onto the horse that great, and wasn't in a place when I graduated to really do much with it. So sadly, I kind of just let it go. But a good friend of mine invited me to a yoga class, and it was just in my small little town back in Maryland. And it was the one time that I finished like a physical exercise that somebody dragged me to. And I felt so much better about myself when I left. I was like, wow, that was awesome. I did a great job. My body feels good. Everything's full. Where like after certain workouts, or like I tried CrossFit, Zumba, going to the gym, like a bunch of different things. Sometimes I was left with this feeling of like, oh, I sucked at that. Or like, I don't want to do that again, but I will, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
So I had taken a couple classes, and the practice though didn't really truly find me until I was going, because I needed to be there to help my own body so I could help other people. So I didn't get the magic of the yoga right away, but when I added a little more consistency into my practice and into my life, it just kind of was like all in.
I feel like was kind of, so I started doing Bikram is how I was introduced to it.
Yeah.
Very much for me that exercise perspective.
Yes.
And it really took years. I mean, it took over a decade for me to kind of fall truly in love with it.
Oh,
It's
it's
changed. My practice has changed so much.
yes, and like our body changes and our present state of our mind. So sometimes these different styles, what we reach for is it changes with us too. And then we can explore more depth or even take a step back and kind of come a little more in tune with ourselves just by being still or going slower. So yoga is such a variety. I really think it's for everyone. So what styles do you practice now?
So I mostly vinyasa.
Cool.
Very little of anything else. I feel like I mean I will do yen sometimes.
Yeah, I love yin too.
Yeah. But I also feel like for me, I know when I take a class that is more of the holds, I can tell. But there's definitely something to be said for those classes for strengthening and kind of building muscle.
Definitely, definitely. And it's all about what your intention is, right? Your intention can be physical, it can be mental, you're just here for peace, or it can be something spiritual. So it's all about what you're looking for. And when your intention stays strong, it kind of floods out into the other areas of your life. So
yeah, which I mean, I think this is kind of the other piece to it because I just feel like the first time we met, you were so again, you're definitely speaking to that sciencey side of me, that geeky side of me, and the way that all the muscles connect. There was also something else to it because you were talking about these more spiritual aspects of it, and the kind of the mind body connection, and not just the mind body connection, but also this spiritual piece of it, and kind of creating space to be present.
yes, yes. They're both so connected, and I think we all naturally have one brain that we turn on and like to operate in, but science and energy or spirituality, they are one and the same. They truly are. So I do like to kind of dabble into both sides, and that helps me to attract people who are more interested in the physical side as well as more interested in the more ethical or etherical spiritual side of things. For me personally, I've always been a little flowy, not very scientific, very like open, but not very grounded. And anatomy was really the one thing that kind of clicked for me where I was like, I really want to learn everything about this. Like I want to know all these names and all these connections. And a lot of learning about anatomy of the body, it took me back to the only math class I was ever good at, which was geometry.
Oh, wow.
So we have like this sacred geometry inside our own bodies. And when we like respect our angles and the alignment of our joints and the balance of strength and flexibility in our muscles, we can kind of like, I don't know, we can just come all together and feel really good about ourselves and within ourselves. And I do think everything's connected. If your energy is low or stagnant or just not like not in a good flowing place, it doesn't really promote great things for your physical body, and vice versa. When your physical body is kind of feeling tight or stagnant or sick, it doesn't make us mentally or emotionally feel good. So I think all three things just kind of flow as one.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. So I mean, and quite honestly, we could just go down a rabbit hole with this. Well, it ties in with all of these, like the acupuncture points within your body and the meridians and the nadis, and we could get into the mudras and
Yes.
I think the mudras are, because you mentioned that with the Kundalini, practice these different mudras, and that's something that I really don't have a deep understanding of.
Okay. So I'm not the teacher, but what I've taken as the student, there are connection points in all of our hands. And I can understand this from a massage perspective, from practicing reflexology. Yeah.
Okay.
We have these different pressure points found in our hands, our feet, and even our ears that link up to other places of the body. So the idea, I don't want to butcher it, but I think Krista calls it the Dia Mudra, which is kind of like the okay sign, where you press your pointer finger and your thumb together, and then you allow your other three fingers to just kind of spread. This is supposed to bring a sensation of peace and a sensation of setting an intention and letting love and energy just kind of free flow through your body. She's also explained to us that each fingertip has like a planetary connection point.
Oh, wow.
And if you're into the zodiacs or astrology and all that stuff, it all kind of connects with the universe, because our like parts, even though we might think we're just a single person, we're connected to the cycle of life and a little bit of everything. And we were born in the stars. That's what made us all individual. So if you want to go down the rabbit hole of astrology, where the stars were aligned, where you were born, whatever that was, that like made you who you are.
Yeah.
So the mudras help you to kind of connect deeper. And our hands are just energy points. Like we shake someone's hand when we meet them, when we give a hug, our hands are to the back of someone's body. Hands are healing through the art of Reiki or massage. Healing touch, which a lot of nurses actually learn and practice in the nursing field of work. So something about the mudras is the placement of your fingertips means something deeper.
Okay.
That's the best as I can give you, because I don't know.
Okay. It sounds good. It's a great starting point.
Yeah. It's definitely something cool to work with. And there's different mudras that symbolize different things for like protection or for stability or for receiving or grounding, all kinds of different stuff. So I'm learning too.
Okay. When you were deciding the name Affirmations of Wellness, was that easy to?
No, it wasn't. I actually created this business name when I lived in Delaware.
Okay.
And my very first original business name was Massage by Corynne, super basic.
Okay.
I had a little Vistaprint logo with like the cute Pisces yin yang fish. And that was my little space that I rented at my first chiropractic office in Delaware, Accurate Chiropractic. But when I added the teacher training for yoga and started the practice of Reiki, I was like, well, Massage by Corynne kind of cuts off the extra things that I'm doing. So I really like intentions and affirmations. I'm a big person about manifesting and like seeing what you want and feeling like you already have it and figuring out how to bring it into your life. That was a big thing for me with coming out to San Diego from so far. I had like a little vision board and I'd look at it every day, and I had the places I loved here, and I just tried to visualize my life like just walking around the streets of Oceanside and getting a coffee here, walking my dog, and that being a regular part of my day. So an intention or an affirmation is a word, phrase, goal, something you're working on in your life that has power behind your words and the thoughts that you think about that intention or affirmation. So when I was thinking about a business name that combined Reiki, massage, and yoga, and maybe more stuff that I'd like to do one day, I wanted to also call to people who really wanted to do the work and be self-healers. I started to see a divide after like my third or fourth year of practicing massage, the people who just came and were in pain and complained and were like, wow, so awesome. I can't wait to see you next week, next month, whatever. But I would give them a lot of my knowledge and say, hey, like, how are you sleeping at night? Like, what's your position? What's your posture? Do you stretch at all? Like, how's your diet? Like, things that will just kind of make you feel better over time. And I could tell those who did the work for themselves, they would improve every single time they came to see me.
Yeah.
And then we'd find something new, and then we would keep improving together versus those who just kind of came to be fixed. So Affirmations of Wellness is my like beacon to the world to call people towards me who really want to heal and want to do the work and want to take the knowledge that I share and kind of bring it into their own lives and benefit from it. So Affirmations of Wellness helps them affirm their wellness.
Yeah.
And now that it was actually perfect because my sign outside, it was such a long, wide sign. And I was like, well, what a great place to have such a long name. It ended up working out perfect for so many years ago.
Well, that's great. So in addition to all of your healing work and your hands-on and your yoga, you also have a juicery.
I do. So this has been an interesting thing throughout my time of opening these stores. My business was previously a comic book coffee shop known as Panels. So I've been always very big on cold pressed juice. I am a type 1 diabetic, so when fasting became a really big fad, I couldn't participate in that really. But I did feel like I needed to give my digestive system a break, and a juicery in Encinitas, they actually were so kind to me. They opened up my asks to, hey, you can do this 2-day cleanse no matter what you're dealing with. Like, just try it. And then if you want to eat, whatever, just eat something that would be on the cleanse. So the first time I did a juice cleanse, my energy levels increased so much. I had a big increase in digestion. My skin felt so good, and it was just an amazing thing. So I started telling all these people about it and getting other people to do juice cleanses. And so it's something that I would make juice at home, but didn't really know much about. So when I found this place, I was like, that's got to be a juice bar. Now, when I was originally opening, I had a couple that wanted to rent a space and make the juice here, and things didn't end up working out, unfortunately. So then I started outsourcing my juice from another space in Encinitas, and I'd pick it up twice a week and just bring it here. The cold pressed juice has a very short shelf life. So in about 3 to 4 days, it needs to be drank after it's pressed. So I would just get small batches and sell it to my yogis and massage clients. So my business idea has changed a lot. Originally, I wanted like an employee here and to be open all the time, but now I realize that like just having small things enough to hand a person that just received a session that's healing a very high vibe fruit vegetable drink, something that they can take with them, just to help keep that energy strong and free flowing as they continue on with their day. So it's a little more low key than what it started with, but we'll see where it goes.
Okay. So I have another question on this, just because, so I've not really, I'm still not big on fasting, and I quite honestly don't know that much about juice cleanse.
Yeah,
that's something I never really into. Can
That's
you
cool.
just explain more like what?
So a juice cleanse is a time to just give your digestive system a break. And cold pressed juice is basically the most optimum amount of nutrients that you can receive from eating a fruit or vegetable, because it removes the starch from it and only gives you the nutrients. So when you have a cold pressed juice, they are a little pricey due to the amount of produce that's inside that jar. One jar of juice could be like the equivalent of eating like 3 salads throughout the day, or having like a huge fruit bowl throughout the day. So when they add in different types of herbs and different types of fruits and vegetables, it kind of condenses together to just give you a power drink. Okay. So the idea of the juice cleanse is that you aren't really fasting. However, you're giving your digestive system a break for a day or 2 or 3, however long you want to cleanse. But you're not starving, because you're receiving the optimum amount of nutrients from fruits or vegetables that you would be eating anyway if you were to do a cleanse for a couple days. So the cleanses that I've tried have 5 juices, and typically they end the day with a nut milk, so almond milk or coconut milk, something to kind of fill or satisfy your stomach. And the juiceries that I've been to, they've explained if you ever feel hungry or feel like you need something, just grab a piece of fruit, grab a vegetable, maybe some nuts or seeds, something light so you feel like you're getting what you need, but you would have had that in our drink anyway. So you're not really cheating on the cleanse. But the juice cleanse is a cool way to just kind of receive all of those nutrients, especially because it's hard to get everything that we need in a day.
Yeah, it is.
It's also a nice time to detox from like caffeine, alcohol, if you enjoy alcohol, added sugars. It's just a nice way to clear your palate, clear your digestive tract, and just let your body kind of operate fresh.
Okay. So it sounds like it's kind of the same premise as, at least in Ayurveda, doing it maybe a Khichdi cleanse for a day.
Yeah,
2 or 3.
very similar, very
Okay.
similar. I don't offer cleanses just yet, only because it's a lot of juices that you need. And again, I just have those small batches for my clients. However, I'd like to outsource the cleanses if somebody wanted to do them or pre-order it. And yeah, I'll get there.
Okay.
But yeah, that's very cool. Do you enjoy cold pressed juice? Have you grabbed a juice somewhere?
Yeah, I mean, the Yellow Deli.
Do they do juice there? They do. Okay.
But I don't know that it's necessarily cold pressed. I really believe it's almost, at least part of it is more like a smoothie. So it's just,
Oh, okay. Yeah, so cold press typically takes all the pulp and things like that out of the juice. So it's just like you're drinking
yeah, just
clear
juice.
juice. Yeah, you got it. Sometimes it has a little foam on top, just from like the fruits and vegetables kind of
Yeah.
forming together.
Yeah.
But smoothies are really good too.
Yeah, it's definitely not. Whatever they're doing, they're not cold pressing everything, because it definitely has like some pulp or a little bit of, you know what I mean?
Okay. Fruit meat.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
cool.
So as we start to wrap up, is there anything that you would like to mention?
Ooh, not in particularly.
Okay.
But I guess just to anyone who's listening or watching, if you've been inspired to try something different and just haven't done it, I would let this listening be a notion to try something new. And come into something new with an open mind and a clear perspective. And you never really know what bringing awareness to your body can help in other aspects of your life. So if you've never practiced yoga, or you've never tried, or never had a massage, or thought it was a luxury thing, maybe just know you deserve it, and you should take some time to try that. Even not with me, with someone, because everyone with a body deserves to find a way to kind of manage their self-care and find healing. So that's all. Mic drop.
Yeah, that's a great way to end it. How are people able to connect?
So I'm located in the heart of Oceanside on Mission Avenue. I am okay with my Instagram. I'm pretty active with responding to messages. I'm just not a great poster just yet. So my Instagram name is Affirmations of, the of is a 0, not an O, because it was taken, Wellness. And I'll include a bio for you, Brandy. That way they have access to my website. And things to that extent. But yeah, if anybody's listening and just wants to say hi, hit me up. I'd love to talk to you. And even if you're not close here in California or here in Oceanside, I'd love to inspire you in any way to walk the path of yoga, or try out a massage, or try out some juice, because these things definitely didn't all come to me at once. And a bunch of people are my guides, so I'm happy to be a guide to anyone who needs one.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time, Corynne.
Thank you, Brandy. Thanks for welcoming me on your show, and thank you to all who listened.